Do I look like a history professor yet? Almost. My beard will come in and I'll be known as the professor. That's what I used to be called. That was fun. So, a little history. Have you heard of the Battle of Arsuf? Richard the Lionheart had to act vulnerable against Saladin, his enemy. He'd lead his troops for 7 days, being attacked, numerous arrows coming in, attacking his troops. But in the end, he won, because he was just acting vulnerable, which is what I had to do. Because sometimes you just do that out of necessity. Yeah. That's why, for instance, in USA cycling, I was able to put up with that for so many years, 7 years, 8 years. But in the end, I got all the information to prove just what they're really like. See, the idea was to show that they are evil, and therefore I'm not. Yeah, it wasn't me. No, it was them. And of course, those, if you're young, that's your parents and your grandparents. Terrible people. And it's not just in cycling, it's been everywhere. That's why I'm in San Francisco documenting what's going on. Yeah. And another good thing about history, have you read Common Sense by Thomas Paine? It's one of those pamphlets that was passed around beginning, the United States. And the basic point is the establishment turns corrupt as it gets older. For instance, their kids and their grandkids become weak and corrupt. Of course they do, because they want to stay in power, but they're just terrible people. That's what I've been documenting. But they have money, and of course, it's easy to take over because once you have money and power, you just take over the police force. And as you know, I posted that note about my brain damage because the thing is, I can't pass a field sobriety test, and I didn't know that. But the police did, and they kept preying on me. They were doing it intentionally, yes. Then you take over the schools, destroy the schools so people are uneducated, and make sure they can't exercise. They're stuck in terrible situations where they're unable to exercise, and make sure they have terrible food, nutrition, to make them sick and weak. Yeah, that's how it goes. Until they need you to fight for a war. Then they'll change their mind really fast. Oh, well, let's give them a bunch of drugs, performance-enhancing drugs and stuff to make them fight. Big men. Yeah. So that's a little history lesson. It's about revenge being sweet and bitter at the same time, like a sweet and sour sauce. Yep, that was my dinner